57 Corvette, beautiful car.
Thank you.
Tell us about it.
Well, I bought the car in 1969 for $1,000 from a college kid where I was the food service director. I've had the car ever since. It's the first Corvette I ever owned. And I've restored it 3 times. I've always just enjoyed this car more than all the others I've had. I've had 30 or so Corvettes since then. But this was always been my favorite. And we spent a lot of time with my kids in this car. It's part of the family.
Right.
You know? And it's been to several shows. We generally win best of show when we're out with the car. Not always. Sometimes we don't win anything, but that's okay. You know, we out to have fun and enjoy the people. It's been a big portion of my life and my family's life ever since '69 when I bought it.
Now, where did you buy it? Where were you?
I was in Bethany, Oklahoma at that time it was called Bethany Nazarene College. It's now Southern Nazarene University. But one of the kids there wanted, he owned the car and he wanted to get married and he needed money to get married on. So I bought the car from him, and I saw him about 20 years later, and he said, "Bill, do you still have that car?" And I said, "Yes, I do." He said, "I don't have that wife."
Oh, no.
So, yes.
Yeah,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to ask you, you've rebuilt it 3 times.
Right.
Now, I hear that you drive this frequently.
We just 2 weeks ago we finished a 2,400 mile trip, my wife and I, in the car. We went to Effingham, Illinois, to Solid Axle Corvette Convention and Mid-America's Fun Fest, where there's about 7,000 cars. Then we made a tour through Arkansas and Missouri and Oklahoma, and by the time we got back to Texas, it was 2,400 miles.
Wow.
And 17 days we were gone.
Wow.
And there's not a lot of room to pack luggage in 17 days.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Now, with rebuilding it, you know this car inside out.
Yes.
And you did the work yourself?
I did all the work myself. The only thing that I didn't do was I didn't do the convertible top or the carpets because I can't sew.
Right.
But everything else I did. I did all the paint and body work, all the mechanicals, all the electrical work, all that I did myself.
Is this an everyday car for you?
No.
No.
But I do have, since I finished it in 2014 for the 3rd time, I have 7,200 miles on it since then. So we've driven it quite a bit.
Yes. Yeah, no kidding.
3,500 miles a year, which is above average probably for this kind of car.
Yeah. You say you came back to Texas, so you live in the Dallas area? Or?
Yes, I live in Flower Mound.
Okay.
It's about, I don't know, 2 hours on the back roads, because we enjoy going the back roads as much as we do down the highway, just simply because it's fun to drive it. It's just a fun car to drive.
Thank you so much.
You bet.
You drove from Arizona to Sulphur Springs to be here.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about it.
Well, we actually come to Texas a few times a year because our daughter lives in Fort Worth, and 3 years ago we found that a good friend who we had not seen in like 15 years lived in Paris, and we'd been here for the car show, and he lived there. So we have 2 reasons to come, and we stopped to see them, and we've been to the show one other time, and we really liked it, and so I said, well, time to go to Texas again with people to see and a car show to do.
Well, it's always great when you've got an excuse to make a trip.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Tell me about your car.
It's a 2001 Z06. It's the first year of the Z06 model, C5, 5th generation Corvette. And we've had a number of different Corvettes, and we've had some Z06s in the past, but they were all newer than this one. But we worked on and restored a C4, and we used it for a few years and decided we wanted to get something a little faster. After all these different Corvettes, I said, we've got to have at least 400 horsepower. So a friend of mine who sells cars in Phoenix, I said, Jim, I have the car for you. He said, I sold this car to a collector 2 years ago and he wants to resell it. And I'll hook you up with him and check it out. You might like it. So it was the first year Z06 and the price was right. I mean, it was really a good buy. And it's 400 horsepower, close to it.
Right.
And it goes good, and that's what I wanted. And it's kind of a race car. It was, this is not the racing version. They made C5R, I believe, that was basically this car set up for racing, and Corvette got back into racing with this 5th generation, and they started with this car and it did quite well, won a few races the first year with it. And so as far as Z06s are concerned, they've been getting a little bigger and faster ever since, I think.
but at least it satisfies your need for speed.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and it gets reasonably good mileage. We're going to put a couple thousand miles on it, and this is really our first long trip in it, and we're getting up around 27, 28 miles per gallon.
That's good.
And so can't ask for much more than that.
Right.
And
Well, I'm glad
when you step on it, you're around that car in a second.
there you go. I understand the concept.
Yeah.
Car number 135.
We're glad
You
that
won
you
a
came to
door
Sulphur
prize.
Springs,
Ken and
and
Charlotte
glad that
Smith.
it's a good
Car number
location.
135.
Oh yeah, it's,
Pick up
the
your
weather's incredible
fast
this year.
spectator pass at
I
the
heard about last
registration
year,
tent.
but
Yeah, sure was so good.
Yeah.
Now, do you live in the Phoenix area, or?
we live up in the White Mountains, northeast of Phoenix.
Okay.
My wife and I, we're on an air park up there. We have more than one expensive hobby, but we live up at 6,500 feet elevation, and when we left, the daytime temperatures were running right between 68 and 75, and nighttime temperatures were getting close to freezing, and we get snow up there.
Right.
It's not too bad.
Right. What do you fly?
I've got an old 1961 Piper Aztec, small twin.
Cool.
So between the Corvette and the airplane, I get my need for speed satisfied.
There you go. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.